Good evening. I'm Jarosel Magat, and I'm here to talk about the Westpac Little Ripper Lifesaver drone by the Ripper Group, a smart-sighted rescue drone. First of all, what are drones? Drones are unmanned aerial vehicles that are controlled via remotes. Their main purposes were surveillance and delivery. Up to the present, they are now currently used as delivery system for the Amazon and sometimes for other delivering companies. But the Reaper Group had different intentions. They are currently residing near the oceans and seas where tourists come and go. In this instance, they are providing security and surveillance around the seas and the oceans. And why is that? Because a few months ago, a local surfer has been attacked by a shark in the area. To avoid this accident, the Reaper Group have been deploying their drones around the seas in order to avoid another accident like that. So, how do these drones work?
Patrolling the Gold Coast since last summer, Westpac Little Ripper drones have been surveilling for sharks and alerting lifeguards and swimmers. They work with a custom piece of artificially intelligent software called the Shark Spotter, which is scarily effective.
We have more than 90% accuracy with sharks. A trained human operator flying on a helicopter has accuracy around 20 to 30%.
90% accuracy. The program uses object recognition to identify and decipher between people and marine life, and it gets smarter as it goes.
We have to draw bounding boxes around each of the objects and say what kind of or what type of object is that. It has to be done, it's a manual process.
How long does that take?
Well, it takes a long time. We have annotated manually more than 20,000 frames and use it for training and testing the algorithm.
Once a shark is detected, the drone hovers near swimmers and warns them via an onboard loudspeaker that it's nearby.
Huge swells in the waves means that sending out jet skis or human divers is really too dangerous and pretty much pointless. But having an eye in the sky can really help.
When you have the bird's eye view, you can easily identify and tell the difference between sharks, dolphins, manta rays, turtles. But also it's been really good for search and rescues where a drone can find a patient, especially in high seas, high swell. They can tell you exactly where the patient is and probably the best way to get them back to shore as well.
Earlier this year, the world's first drone rescue was successfully completed by one of their fleet.
Took off, flew down the beach about 800 metres, found the kids, deployed the pod to them. They grabbed it straight away. It took about 70 seconds from takeoff till they had the pod in their hands, and then that helped wash them in. They couldn't swim in on their own. They were in a bit of trouble. They're pretty lucky we were there that day.
To pull off this feat, the drones are equipped with a neat little package.
So underneath here there's a little mechanical arm which is carrying this payload, and when it's time to be deployed, a switch is flicked. This drops down, and upon impact with the water, it rapidly inflates. It's enough to carry 4 people for 24 hours.
As well as improving response time, the Ripper Group claims its system can reduce cost. Instead of having several lifeguards, you could have one drone, for instance. But the idea is not to replace human lifeguards.
No, it's like another bit of equipment for us. For example, our jet skis. You know, people were a bit worried about jet skis, then maybe we might have to have less lifeguards because we have a jet ski now, but you learn to use them in the correct way and the correct conditions. So in no way it's going to replace people. In no way is it going to replace helicopter rescues. It's just another bit of equipment we can use to save someone's life potentially.
It's not all rosy though. These are aircraft working near water and people. Recently, one of their drones malfunctioned and had to do a crash landing in Byron Bay. They patrol hourly for less than 30 minutes, so they're only watching half the time. And of course, there's the weather. High winds or rain means no flying for Little Ripper. Other waterborne solutions exist, such as the static Clever Boy by Smart Marine Systems. It uses sonar to detect distinctive shark movements and sends a text message to guards to raise the alarm. It comes with underwater stereo cameras too, which verify the findings. The kit's being used in a $16 million government project to mitigate shark attacks. But will these high-tech solutions ever really take off?
Price is a big factor that will change significantly. We've seen that in the last 3 years. Our first iteration of the Westpac Little Ripper Lifesaver was $160,000. We're now down to $15,000. There's only 400 beaches around Australia that are actually patrolled by lifeguards. And there's 2,000 beaches around the Australian coastline. So we want to be able to patrol that other 1,600 beaches.
Dr. Sharma is now cooking up a system to spot crocodiles, which thrive in muddied waters, making them harder to see. And he's training the kit to identify signs of swimmer distress, meaning lifeguards could get to the scene before there's a chance of drowning.
The technology we have is advanced and complex. The drones certainly have their advantages, but the lack of funding is a major problem. The government would rather shut down the seas and the oceans rather than fund this project. One way that I know of in order to continue this project is to toll the visitors of the oceans and the seas. It may be the only source of income at the moment, but it is a way to keep the project going and be further improved on. So that's my special topic regarding the Little Ripper Lifesaver drones